Hey, Mr. Bernold again. Here I am doing advanced techniques for 2-point perspective. I am going to use the drawing that I used in 2-point perspective to just start building on this drawing. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to draw a box on top in front of a box. I start that by drawing a vertical line that is overlapping with another box. Just like before, I'm going to line up the top and bottom of that line with both vanishing points. And I'm going to extend this line a little bit higher so that it's a little bit above the horizon line. We get a little bit of an angle. This is going to go down this direction. And the bottom of this line is going to go to this direction. I'm going to connect the bottom corner with the right vanishing point and the top corner with the right vanishing point. Now I have to decide how to end the walls. So since the building ends right here at the corner, it probably makes sense just to take my ruler here and end it right at the end of the building instead of continuing that on. So I'm going to erase these lines here. That's the extra I don't need. And I'm going to slide my ruler over and end this end of the box a little bit past the building. This creates a box in front of another box. And to make it look solid, I would get rid of any of the lines cutting through this first box. So I am going to eliminate anything that I don't need on the inside. But first I am going to create an opening in this box. So kind of like a doorway. I'm going to start that by doing 2 vertical lines. And then because I've drawn this on the left-hand side of this box, I need the top to go to the left vanishing point. So I'm going to line up my ruler with the left vanishing point. And I'm going to draw the line over the top to create the top opening. Now I'm going to erase all the lines that are cutting through to create that space here. And to make this front box solid, I want to make it look like it's in front. So I'm going to erase any lines that are not creating that illusion. Now I've created an opening, but it's kind of boring. So to make it look a little bit more interesting, I'm going to take my ruler and line the ruler up with the inside corner of that opening I just created and draw a line to that first line. That's going to create a 3-dimensional quality that's going to show me a floor and the inside wall of the hall inside the opening. To further enhance that, I'm going to shade this, making the area furthest away from the entrance darker. And as it gets closer to the entrance where all the light is coming from, I'm going to fade out my shading. And I'm going to leave the floor as it is because the floor would probably be getting a lot of light, but this back wall would not be. That's going to make that pop out a little bit just by adding that shading. I can do the same thing to the other side. Remember, you're starting with just 2 vertical lines. Wide you want the opening to be. And because I've now drawn this on the right-hand side of the box, it has to go to the right vanishing point. So the top of that opening has to use that angle. I've created that opening, but if I want to make it three-dimensional like I did the other one, I'm going to now go to the inside corner, connect it to the left vanishing point, and draw that angle showing the inside. It's a little difficult to see, so I'm going to do the same sort of thing where I'm going to shade further in towards the middle of the box and fade it out as it gets further out towards the opening. Just doing that little bit of shading can make that pop out. The next skill is drawing a box on top of a box. Again, I'm going to draw a vertical line, and I need it to overlap and rest on the top section. So I don't want it to go all the way down. And I'm just like before, lining up the bottom and top line to the left and right vanishing points. I don't need the line to go all the way to the vanishing point. Once you become comfortable with drawing the lines and figuring out how long you want them to be, you don't have them to continue all the way to the vanishing point. So I'm just going to make them as short or as long as I want. I'm going to line up my ruler and make this short. So I'm going to slide it to the right and make this short so that it ends before the end of the box, and erase anything that I don't need anymore and anything inside of it to make it solid so that it looks like it's resting in front of the horizon line and not allowing it to go through. I'm going to line up my ruler with the corner again and slide it to the left. And I don't want it to extend out past the box that it's resting on, so I'm going to make it really, really short. These are all changes that you just make based on you as the artist. There is no right or wrong way to do it. It's just how you think it looks, and you make a judgment call. It's a little hard to see the two sides of the box, so if I had the light source coming in, I, I, I am going to shade the left side of this box just to make that left side look a little bit different from the front. That gives it a nice three-dimensional quality of a box resting on top of another box. The next skill I'm going to show you is drawing a open top box, and the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to start with a really short line that's down below the horizon line, almost toward the bottom. I'm going to line the top and bottom up with the left vanishing point and draw how long I want the walls to go. And I'm going to do the same thing on the right hand side, going to the right vanishing point. And you'll notice that the closer I get to the vanishing point, you'll see that the angle is going to become more extreme. But you have to make sure that it's following the rules of perspective there by going to right vanishing point. I'm going to slide my ruler vertically to the left. That's going to create parallel lines, two parallel lines that are never touching but are even with each other. That's something you probably learned in math class. Worlds are colliding, art and math together, parallel lines in drawing and in math graphing. So after I define the walls, I am going to do opposite corners. So left corner goes to your right vanishing point. Right corner goes to the left vanishing point. And where those two connect is the back end of the box. So I created a nice little box down here, but If I want to make it look like it's open, instead of it being solid on three sides, I'm going to just take my ruler to the back corner, and I'm going to bring a vertical line straight down, which is going to make the box look like it's open on top. Now what I'm seeing is the inside left part of the box and the inside back part of the box. But again, I can use shading here a little bit to make this kind of stand out a little bit. So I'm going to shade down towards the bottom of the box, making it darker and having it fade out as it gets higher up into the box. I can also do some shading on the other side. However, I want to make sure that any shading that I do on the other side is different in some way so that I don't lose the two distinct sides. So I'm going to make the left side slightly lighter and go back and make the back end here a little bit darker so that it's definitely different from the left hand side. Now, if I had a light source that was coming in from the right here, just like I would have here, any box that's on the ground is going to have some kind of shadow. So the way that I create a shadow is by going to this back corner, and I am going to line it up with the vanishing point and draw a line, creating that edge. I'm going to do the same thing on the edge of the box, drawing that angle, and then I am going to line up my ruler with the angle of the box and slide it forward to meet those two lines that I just created. That's going to make that shadow look like it's laying flat on the ground. And the way that I would shade this is a cast shadow is going to be your darkest value when you are shading. So that means that I am using my pencil with heavy pressure here to try and cover up as much of the white paper as I possibly can. But cast shadow is going to be the complete absence of any kind of light. So when I am shading this and filling this in, I am trying to make it look like the box is what is creating that shadow. So that's why we make it so dark. And then I'm just blending here a little bit and making that shadow look like it's fading out a little bit. And those are the skills that you learn for advanced 2-point perspective box techniques. The ones that we covered is we're going to add one more here. So I'm going to create an opening in the ground. So I line this up with the right and left vanishing points to make the angle, kind of like I'm making the top of a box. And I do the same thing on the other side to create just a flat piece on the ground. And then instead of making that just flat, I do the same thing I did on the open top box, and I just bring this line down, and that is going to create that opening. It looks like there's a hole in the ground there. So those are the advanced techniques. We covered making an opening, drawing a box in front of a box, stacking a box on top of another box, making a hole in the ground, and an open top box with a cast shadow.